This is one super atheist brother coming at you. My brother will be doing videos eventually. He's just a little lazy and he finds better things to do, and I don't mind. I like doing videos. I enjoy it a lot. Get to have discussion, put on video. I don't have to rediscuss it for a while at least. Um, anyways, this is going to be my refutation of all the common arguments against allowing gay marriage. And, yeah. So, the first thing I hear a lot is, the gays are just trying to redefine marriage. Traditional marriage. My question is, which traditional marriage are you talking about? What traditional marriage are you talking about? I mean, every culture has revised that definition. In fact, not too long ago, polygamy was perfectly acceptable. I mean, traditional marriage is just a wrong way to go about it. Not to mention, of course, that anyone arguing that on a philosophical level would realize really quickly it's an appeal tradition. It's not true because it's traditional. Anyways, it's a poor definition of marriage if you assume it needs between a man and a woman. It has nothing to do with it, really. The point of marriage is to have two consenting adults who are in love to join a union. That's really the whole point of marriage. Anything more than that is bullshit. That's all it is, really. Then they also appeal to tradition. I mean, they already did, but they appeal to tradition saying it's traditional, we need to have it this way between a man and a woman, there's no other way to go about it. Well, how about we put things traditional in a lot of their views? Women's suffrage? Let's go back to tradition. I mean, they don't need rights. Traditionally, women don't get to vote, they don't get rights, they can't own property. I mean, let's go back to tradition. Let's go even farther back. Slavery, reinstate it. I mean, why not? I mean, appealing to tradition, anything that's traditional, is good, true. It's a shitty argument. Another appeal I hear a lot. It's unnatural. Again, there's an obvious fallacy, and this is the easiest way to refute it. Just say, you're appealing to nature. Appealing to nature doesn't make it true or false. And it's pretty overt. I mean, if you really think about it, there are things that happen in nature that aren't good, but they happen in nature. It doesn't mean they're true or false, good or bad. You can't determine that strictly by it being natural. Furthermore, where are you getting the natural from? I mean, what's unnatural about it? The animal kingdom shows at least 500 species who are gay. For instance, penguins. It's not obscure species either. Penguins have a 10% chance of being gay. Now, people generally have this weird statistic that humans have a 10% chance of being gay. It's completely off. Men have a 4% chance of being gay, females have a 2% chance of being gay, and the mean would be about 3%. So, penguins are about 3% three times as likely as humans to be gay. But they don't seem to have serious problems in their society from it. In fact, when they mate for life. And they seem to do just fine with or without a female or a male. So I just don't get where the unnatural is coming from. It's totally natural. It happens in nature all the time. Not that makes it true or false, but the point is, it's a red herring. Now, a lot of times they'll try and connect it to other things, like if you allow gay marriage, then we're going to get polygamy, incest, necrophilia, and bestiality. First off, necrophilia is wrong. Necrophilia is a tough issue for me because I feel like corpses don't really have rights, but at the same time they should. If someone was willing to give their corpse up to some necrophiliac, I don't see any problem with that. Beyond that, I feel like it's like committing collateral damage to do anything to a corpse. I don't know. If they didn't consent to their body being used for certain things like science, then they can't be used for science, I guess is the way you'd go about it. I think it's alright as long as there was consent before he died, on paper. But, without that, I don't even know how you get to that point. I don't even know the connection. It doesn't make any sense to me. Obviously there's no consent there, so it's stupid. Bestiality. An animal cannot consent. It's so terribly obvious. That's the distinction. If animal could consent, like if we could agree that animals have the same intellect as human and they could consent, I don't see a problem with it anymore. It's not really all that immoral in my opinion, or at least it wouldn't totally be immoral. Then we get to incest. I don't think incest is that immoral. I mean, there are certain issues with it, and I'll get into that later. I'm sure I'll make a video on incest, and you may or may not like it. We'll see. but I don't think incest has ever really been a big issue and ever should be a big issue. It's a stupid appeal. If you have consenting adults who love each other and they want to enter a union, I don't care who they are, what their relationship is. Then you have polygamy. Polygamy is another issue entirely again, but I again say that polygamy should be alright. I mean, as long as they're all consenting, they all consent every time they add a new member, I'm okay with it. Don't get me wrong, you get to rewrite a lot of law, it'd be very complex, and it would change society somewhat. I don't think it would be necessarily negative. It's another issue entirely, I'll probably make another video on it altogether. Then they talk about, the family structure. If you don't have males or females, the kid's not going to turn out right. Well, there are other role models in their life. It's just stupid. And you look at, single parents. Should they have their kids taken away from them? I mean, we're already into parenting, and parenting is in itself a red herring. It has nothing to do with marriage, but it turns into marriage, so I'm going to refute their bullshit again. Yeah. They find other role models. It's not impossible to find a male and lesbian couple who's just, uncle of one of them, and he helps the kid out here and there. I mean, they'll find role models one way or another. There is no evidence that lesbian or, gay in general actually raise children any better or worse than heterosexual. So they have no leg to stand on from a scientific standpoint, and I don't understand their appeals half the time because it doesn't really make any sense. They also talk about how it's an alternative lifestyle. Complete red herring, cutter bullshit, has nothing to do with it. We're not voting. We didn't vote on alternative lifestyle. We voted on whether or not they should be allowed to get married. Stupid appeal. Let's see. They always talk about having children, but I think that's pretty retarded. Because there's nothing in marriage that says you need to have children. If that's the case, then people who are infertile can't get married, right? So it's ridiculous appeal. Besides, gays can get children. They can carry a baby to term if they're lesbian. They can get artificially inseminated if they're lesbian. And all of them can adopt. There are over 250,000 kids who never get adopted. They get emancipated, and they have about a 30% chance rate of getting incarcerated. The statistics aren't good for kids who never really had fathers and mothers, even if they only had 2 mothers or 2 fathers. Even if you think that's stupid and bad and wrong, even though you have no evidence to stand on and you're retarded, there's still 250,000 kids who could use a home, and they never get it. And you're going to tell me that, we don't need to give them, a family. No family at all. It's better that they live in a foster home or they live in a, orphanage or whatever, and they become emancipated. That's not good. That's horrible. You're really killing progress here. They could have had a much better life with a homosexual family. It's just ridiculous. I have yet to find a good rational reason to be against homosexuality. In fact, I challenge anyone out there, find me an atheist who is against gay marriage, because I have yet to hear an argument that wasn't religious. Sorry, I have heard arguments. I obviously gave you, these arguments are pretty much secular, but they're stupid. I mean, no one should believe in these if they actually read the reputations. I mean, just watching this video, they should know better by now, that these are all bad reputations. They're either based on fallacies or bad information. They have no scientific standing. They're just stupid. So, I dare anyone who's against gay marriage to find me an atheist who's also against gay marriage. If you're saying this isn't a religious appeal, and if it's a religious appeal, stay the hell out of our government. We have separation of church and state. You have no place in there. Voting on Prop 8 was unconstitutional. There's really nothing more to it. It kills me that this is an issue in 2009. We're still talking about this. This is still a problem. That's all I can say. Yeah. Have a nice day.